Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another video. And in this video, guys, we're going to be talking about the elements to a perfect sales pitch, right? So if you are selling high ticket items right now, or you want to get into selling high ticket items, this is going to help. Because right now, guys, just if you don't know already, we own a company called LoanCallClosers.com where we are selling for big influencers in the online space. So we sell anything from $1,000 to $100,000. We sell it over the phone. And in 3 years, guys, we've sold over $40 million in online products. So I feel like I'm relatively qualified to talk about the subject. So I'm going to talk about what we do, what works for us, so that way you can use it to make more money, have more impact, and just do the more things that you want to do. And that's why I make these videos, guys, is because I honestly believe that high ticket salespeople over the next 10 years will make millions of dollars if you just get really good at this skill. It's just one skill that you literally need to know, and you can make a lot of money, and you can do it from anywhere in the world, which I think is pretty cool. So let's get into it. So how to stand out in a crowded marketplace, right? And here's the problem, guys. Is that right now there are more products being sold online than ever before, and that trend is not going to stop, right? It's not going to slow down. Over time, more and more people are going to enter this marketplace, and as more people enter the marketplace, there's more competition, there's going to be more price competition, and number one is that prospects are going to need to know how to differentiate your product between somebody else's, right? If your pitch, what you're offering and what the other guy offering are the same, then he's going to go with the lower price, right? They're going to start doing the price shopping thing. And as soon as you start getting into price, now you become a commodity. So you don't want to become a commodity online. You want to be able to stand out. That's number one. And number two, guys, is that prospects just don't know what method to trust anymore, right? Everybody's got a certain method online that they say is quote unquote the best method. Whatever you're selling a specific method, and how are they supposed to trust that method, or say, hey, that one's better than this one, right? With more information comes more confusion. Prospects are confused, they're overwhelmed, right? There's more information online now than ever, and people are more confused than ever. So how does that work? So I'm going to show you the formula to really stop that today and really make your pitch much better than everybody else's. Everybody now has had a bad experience online, right? Maybe they got scammed, maybe they got a course, a product, and it wasn't what they thought, right? And they just said, man, this thing sucked, didn't like it, support sucked, it was nothing that I wanted. And when you get on the phone, you have to realize that most people are going to come from bad previous experiences, which install bad beliefs in their mind. And now how do you get over that, right? And then offers are getting stronger in the online space. Like everybody now is promising the same result with the strong offer, right? A guarantee, hey, if you don't do this in 90 days, you're going to get your money back, XYZ. So you need to know how to stand out from all that noise. And then also prospects believe, their belief in themselves is rapidly declining. So here's a big problem, right? When you get down to the close and somebody doesn't want to make a decision, usually it's because it's something they don't understand or something they don't believe. But the belief part could be in themselves or your product, right? But most prospects just don't believe in themselves. So that's where, understanding how to pitch and really targeting parts of the brain, the right parts of the brain, you can really get people to start thinking like this is the right solution and give them confidence to move forward. All right, so one thing you have to understand, guys, is that the traditional pitch just isn't going to work anymore, right? Your traditional average pitch of when you get Mary and you tell Mary, about your course, your product, your service, what's going to happen is Mary's going to A, tune out, right? And B, she's not going to buy. She's going to say, well, I don't understand what makes this any type of special, unique, shocking, different. All the elements that move people emotionally are probably not in your pitch. And until you get this right, guys, you're always going to be mediocre, right? So I don't know if you know this guy right here, but his name is Billy Mays. And so Billy Mays was a infomercial guy, and what his superpower is he knew how to turn cold prospects into buyers in a matter of 3 to 5 minutes, right? So what he would do online is he would show these products that he would sell, and he would pitch them online for people, and he would get sales, right? And he's probably the best in the world to ever do this. And we're going to use Billy May as an example for all the elements that you need in your pitch when you're selling high ticket items, because this stuff still works today because he's using brain science and he's using human behavior to actually move people. Okay. So here we go. All right. The elements of a perfect pitch. And we're going to dive into these a little bit more, guys, but just starting down the line, right? Element number one is you got to be able to grab and hold attention. Right? Grab and hold attention. Number two is you got to tie the solution to the prospect's problem. What is the problem the prospect's facing? What is the solution to that problem? But unless you make that connection for the prospect, they're not going to make it themselves, right? Number three is you got to incite and engage the imagination. If you don't do that, you're not going to win, because sales is first emotional and then it becomes logical, right? You have to anchor a high value. There's nothing worse than when you anchor a low, like, if I say $100 right now and then I say $100,000, you're like, whoa, $100,000 sounds like a lot of money. But if I start with $100,000 and then I say, hey, just $1,000, right? It sounds like a little bit of money. So you have to be able to anchor those little price differences in a prospect's mind around value to really make it seem like it's a great deal. Also, you have to use dramatic demonstration. And we're going to get into this as well, guys, but every great pitch has some type of dramatic demonstration showing that the product works on a dramatic level to really wake up the prospect and get them to move forward. Then we also have to keep it short, right? There's nothing worse than a long pitch, guys, when you're just babbling, talking, prospects tuning out. You think it's going great because you're just giving all this information and he doesn't even know where the heck to start, right? See this far too often. Don't do that. And then obviously you have to be able to explain away concerns during the pitch, not after, right? So the best way to explain away concerns is you're going to do that throughout the pitch, knowing what the concerns of the prospects typically are, and then we're going to get rid of those. And then you got to make it a no-brainer offer. Have you ever seen infomercials? They make it seem like, dude, if I don't do this, I'm stupid, right? So we'll dive into these a little bit more. So number one is grab and hold attention. So what do I mean by that, right? Is that your number one job as a closer when you are about to pitch is to grab the prospect's attention and keep their attention throughout the entire pitch. Because if they fall asleep, if they doze off, if they're just not all cognitively there, then you've lost the prospect, right? Even though they might be giving you the head nod in the pitch and you might be looking at their face, like, you need the prospect's attention. So you're going to keep it conversational. You're going to ask clarifying questions along the way. Conversational means the prospect should be engaging back with you, right? They should be speaking during your pitch, not just you. The prospect needs to engage back. And then also, you need to be asking clarifying questions along the way. A clarifying question is something along the lines of, hey, John, based off of everything I just covered, do you feel like this can support you in your journey with XYZ, right? And then if he says yes, and then you're going to ask, hey, John, so how do you feel like this could potentially help you accomplish X? To get them to engage, right? The last thing you want to do is to ask them, hey, John, does this all make sense? Hey, John, does this sound good? And then all they're going to give you is the head nod, and then you're going to move on, and then they're going to tell you they need to think about it, right? So number one, grab and hold attention, guys. Number two is excite and engage the imagination. Because, guys, all selling is brain-based, right? It's brain-based selling. There's a way the brain works to buy things, right? And unless you understand how that is or how that works, you're not going to be very good at pitching. So your number two thing is you have to excite and engage the imagination. And one of the reasons why we're going to do this is because we're going to take the prospect to a higher emotional state on the call. If you think about this really quick, guys, and you might think about this in your own life, right? Why do you drink coffee in the morning? Well, the reason why you drink coffee in the morning is probably to feel better, right? To feel more emotionally jacked up, to have more energy. You're trying to go to a higher state in life, right? Why do people buy, nice jewelry, right? Well, they're putting that jewelry on and they're feeling like, they're a baller, status, right? But status at the end of the day brings people to a higher emotional state. So what you're always doing is you're always bringing humans to a higher emotional state. And the better the state that the human is in, the more they will feel inclined to buy, right? And so that's number two. And then the other thing with exciting, engaging the imagination, guys, is you can bring information to life with analogies and metaphors, right? So when you're speaking to the prospects, if you're speaking in words, words are the left side of the brain, meaning that when a prospect hears certain words, it doesn't excite the imagination. It helps them filter it through like analytical thinking. They have to take those words and they have to use analytical thought to decipher what you're saying. You don't want that, right? You want the opposite. You want them to take your words, turn them into pictures, because pictures are right brain based, right? Pictures engage the imagination and they bring out emotion. So every time that you're on a pitch, you always want to take information and then turn those into analogies, because analogies are words in picture format. So if you get good at these two things, you can now bring your prospect to a higher emotional state. You're going to hear it in their tonality, and then you can sway them emotionally to buy. Because until they're emotionally bought in, they're never going to be logically bought in. That makes sense. And then what you're going to do, guys, is you're going to tie the solution to the prospect's problem, right? So you're always going to let Bob know that, hey, Bob, earlier you told me that one of your biggest issues right now, or the problem that we're solving right now, is X, Y, and Z, right? And then you're going to say, Bob, do you see how this could potentially help you get over this hurdle? Do you see how this, Bob, could potentially help you, build your business, install a marketing system that's predictable, and get you more leads consistently, right? So you're always going to tie the solution back to the prospect's problem. And every problem that the prospect has, it might be slightly different. You're going to use their own words to tie it back because that's how you give the prospect clarity. Like, Bob understands me, right? Bob here's what I'm saying, and he's tying the solution to my main problem. And as soon as you start doing this on a better scale, like you actually say this to Bob and he knows that you know the problem and the solution, he's gonna feel like, whoa, you know what? This is starting to make some sense. This is the exact problem I have. This is the exact solution I need to solve that problem. And then when you can get him to tell you that it's the solution, you are gonna win more of those conversations. And then this is a big one, guys, right? If you look on the side here with the doctor and the patient, right? You need to be able to explain away concerns during the pitch. And what I mean by that is something that you should be doing like right now is you're going to write down all the concerns that your prospect could potentially have moving forward, right? What are those concerns? I wrote some of them on the right-hand side, guys. It might not be completely, aligned with your offer right now, but just start thinking about these things, right? So like, number one, will I be supported every step of the way? The prospect might be thinking this, right? This is one of his concerns. Hey, is it possible to fail? Is there any possibility? So in your language, as you're going through the pitch, you could say stuff like, hey, John, we make it impossible for our students to fail if they follow exactly what we teach, right? Will I be supported every step of the way? Use language like, and hey, John, one of the things that, we believe in with our product and service is that we want to be able to support you every step of the way, right? So use those language to combat those concerns. So that way, once they hear it, they're like, oh, that concern's knocked out. Oh, I had that concern's knocked out. So keep going through these. Is right now the best time to move forward, right? Do I need special skills or knowledge to get started? Have others like me been successful? How much time and effort will this take? How is this different from what I've tried in the past? See, these are the concerns, guys, that they're unspoken. They're not going to tell you this. The prospect's not going to say this stuff, but you need to know it by understanding your prospect. And as soon as you understand their concerns, you can write them all down, and in your pitch, as you're going through it, knock them all off the board one by one. Subconsciously, the prospect's going to feel like, wow, this is exactly what I've been looking for. You increase certainty, you increase clarity, and then you can get more closes. And then you're also going to use dramatic demonstration. Here is Billy Mays right here, guys. And this is Billy Mays selling a product called like Mighty Putty. And what he's doing in this picture right now is he's using dramatic demonstration to show you how this Mighty Putty, you can just put it on the thing and you can pull, a 20,000 pound semi. Now, obviously, it's a dramatic demonstration to prove a point, guys. But what Billy Mays mastered right here is when somebody sees this, They're like, dang, if that putty can pull that semi, that putty can help me like put together anything, right? Like, whoa, I need to buy this putty. It's amazing. And so you can use the same concept in your pitch, which is called dramatic demonstration. I'll give you another example. One guy that built a large part of his following and reputation and business off of dramatic demonstration was Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins had something called the fire walk. And what he would do is he would show people walking across fire and hot coals. And by doing that, he used dramatic demonstration to prove to people that, oh my gosh, like this can be done. And I'm going to show you how to master this, right? How to get over your biggest fear and walk across fire. And that dramatic demonstration is what taps into the person's right brain and takes them to an elevated state and gets them to move forward. So in your pitch, maybe you can use testimonials that are dramatic, case studies that are dramatic, that show the prospect like, whoa, if it worked for this person, it could work for anybody, right? You need to have this in your pitch. You need to anchor a high value. So guys, this is very, very simple, but you always want to let the prospect know that the value of what they're purchasing is so high that when you hit them with the actual price, what it's actually going to take, they're going to be like, it's just a psychological trigger, right? When a human hears $50,000 and then you tell them, oh, the program's just $5,000, right? It's like, whoa, okay, it's just $5,000 and I just heard $50,000. So you always, and even though you think, oh my gosh, this is a sales gimmick or whatever, it still works today, guys. Like every single sales thing you see online, infomercials online, whether you go to the jewelry store, they're always going to anchor the high price to you, and then they're going to drop it down to make it feel like, oh my gosh, this is so much, like this is so worth it. The value is there. You never want to do the opposite. You never want to start with the lower price. If you're selling different products, multiple products, you always start with the high product first, right? You anchor the high price and then you show them that, oh wow, but you know what, Mr. Prospect, the best one probably for you is right here, which is only going to be about, $7,500, right? And then the way you position that is like only, right? It's only going to cost you about $7,500 for this, as opposed to our $20,000 package, which you don't even need anyways, right? And here's why. So that's what you're going to do, guys. Just make sure you always have a price anchor in your pitch to move the prospect emotionally, okay? And then, of course, you're gonna keep it short, guys. Ultimately, you wanna keep the pitch under 3 minutes, right? I mean, I've seen Billy Mays in a matter of 2 to 3 minutes. He does his pitch, gets people, he does all these elements in every single pitch. And then by the end of it, he's showing them, 3, 4 different offers with a timer that's gonna go down with, and then if you act right now, we're gonna add this X, Y, Z. And he makes the pitch like short. He makes it a no-brainer, and he can hold the prospect's attention throughout the entire thing. There's nothing worse than a long, dragged-out pitch where you see, the fallacy is, if I spit out more information, the more the prospect's going to want to buy. If I can spit out more features and benefits, the more the prospect's going to want to buy. It's the opposite, guys. The more that you spit out, the more information that you give, the less likely they are to buy, because you're raising overwhelm, you're raising confusion. And then when those two go up, your likelihoods of closing go down. So a great pitch reduces anxiety and it doesn't amplify it. Okay, so keep the pitch short, 3 minutes or under, please. If there's nothing else that you get, do this. All right, and then we got to make it a no-brainer offer, right? A no-brainer offer. So what does that mean, guys? It means that by the end of it, they got to feel like, dude, if I don't move forward on this call, I would be dumb, right? It would be dumb of me to not move forward. It would be irrational of me to not move forward, right? Because look, the offer is king, right? The offer is king, guys. Let me repeat that one more time because it's that important. The offer is king. You need to make the offer so compelling over the phone that somebody would feel dumb not to buy. And that's what infomercials have perfected. That's what Billy Mays has perfected. He realized that if I can put an offer in front of a prospect that has a problem that I can solve, and I can make it a no-brainer offer, my chances of closing are going to go drastically up. And that's exactly what he did, guys, is you got to make it a no-brainer offer. Whatever that looks like to you, go through your prospects, write down what they're looking for, what are their pain points, and how can I position this offer to make it seem like there's just no way I wouldn't want to do this. If you get that right, you're going to close a lot more deals. All right, guys. So those are the elements, one by one, guys. And I hope that you found a lot of value out of this, guys. And going forward, I'm going to be doing more, videos just like this, guys, to just kind of give you more value, give you everything that I know around sales and closing to hopefully help you make more money, right? Because at the end of the day, that's my goal, is to help you watching this make more money. And hopefully, if you're not in high ticket sales right now, that you are going to get in high ticket sales and have more freedom in your life and close more deals and just do things that you enjoy, right? And that's why I love what we do at One Call Closers. If you're interested in what we do, guys, and how we do it, there's a link down below to apply to actually work and become a closer with our company. And most of the closers we have started with no experience. We trained them up from ground zero, and then we turn them into multiple six-figure earners, because that's what we do. All right. I'll see you for the next video, guys. Peace out. Bye.